Jack Morrison had spent 35 years saving people from smoke. He'd run into burning buildings thousands of times, pulled children, elderly people, and pets from the flames. People called him a hero, but nobody ever told him the smoke would kill him. He was 68 now, a retired firefighter. His wife Linda had died 2 years ago. His kids lived in different cities and rarely called. He was alone. And now the doctor was looking at him with that expression, the one every doctor has when they're about to deliver bad news. Lung cancer, the doctor had said. Advanced stage, 6 months. Jack had nodded. He wasn't surprised. 35 years of breathing smoke. You pay the price. But what he didn't expect was what the doctor said next. Mr. Morrison. Jack Morrison? Chicago Fire Department? Yes. The doctor's eyes filled with tears. There was a fire in 1994. West Side. I was 7 years old. You saved me. Jack froze. I'm that kid, the doctor whispered. And now it's my turn. 30 years earlier, Jack Morrison had been a firefighter with 10 years of experience at the Chicago Fire Department. He was 40 years old, strong, fast. He had a wife, Linda, and 2 children. Sarah was 13, Michael was 10. They had a good life. It was a hot June night in 1994. The alarm went off while Jack was sleeping at the station. It was 2 in the morning, West Side, apartment fire, 308047 Madison Street. Residents trapped inside. The radio crackled. Jack and his crew jumped onto the truck and tore through the streets with sirens wailing. They were there in 5 minutes. The building was engulfed. It was an old 3-story apartment building with flames shooting out of the 3rd floor windows. Smoke filled the sky. People were screaming in the street, some in their pajamas. The captain shouted at Jack, "Morrison, people trapped inside. 3rd floor. Go." Jack pulled on his mask, checked his gear, and ran into the building. Up the stairs, 1st floor, 2nd floor. The smoke was getting thicker. The heat was intensifying. By the time he reached the 3rd floor, he couldn't breathe, even with the mask. There were 2 doors in the hallway. One was open, empty. The other was closed. Jack kicked the door in, and it splintered. He went inside. The apartment was filled with smoke, visibility near zero. "Anyone here?" he shouted. Nothing. He rushed to the bedroom. Empty. Checked the bathroom. Empty. As he turned back, he heard a small sound. Crying. A child crying. He ran to the kitchen. Under the counter, a small child was curled up, hands pressed to his face, trembling. Jack dropped to his knees. "Hey, buddy, I'm a firefighter. I'm gonna get you out, okay?" The child couldn't even look at him, too terrified. Jack scooped him up and ran outside. Down the stairs. 3rd floor, 2nd floor, 1st floor. When he burst outside, his lungs were burning. He handed the child to the paramedics, ripped off his mask, and coughed. The captain came over. "Good work, Morrison. Anyone else inside?" "I don't know. Let me check." "No, you've breathed enough smoke. I'm sending someone else." But Jack didn't listen. He went back into the building. There were other apartments. There could be people. That night, he pulled 4 more people out of the building. 2 elderly women, a man, and a cat. The fire burned until morning. By the time it was out, Jack was so exhausted, he could barely stand. When he got home, Linda had hugged him. "I saw it on the news. I was scared for you." "I'm fine," Jack had said, but he was still coughing. His throat was burning. His lungs ached. He never thought about the child he saved that night again. He'd saved so many people, it was impossible to remember them all. 30 years passed. Jack had retired 3 years ago. Linda had died of cancer 2 years ago. Sarah and Michael had started their own families, one in New York, one in Los Angeles. They visited Jack once or twice a year, talked on the phone maybe once a month. Jack lived alone in his small house in Chicago. He went to the Retired Firefighters Association sometimes, met with old friends. But most of the time, he was at home watching television, working in the garden. For the past 6 months, he'd been coughing. At first, he thought it was a cold, but it didn't go away. He couldn't sleep at night from the coughing. He struggled to breathe. Finally, he went to the doctor. His family physician ordered X-rays and blood tests. When he looked at the results, his face became serious. "You need to see a specialist, Mr. Morrison." I'm giving you an appointment with an oncologist.
Oncology.
That meant cancer. Jack knew. His appointment was 3 weeks later at Chicago Medical Center downtown. Jack went alone. Hadn't told anyone. He didn't want to worry Sarah and Michael. He sat in the waiting room, looking at old magazines. Waiting. Then his name was called. He entered the examination room. A young doctor greeted him. Mid-30s. Dark hair, serious eyes. Mr. Morrison, I'm Dr. Chen. Please sit. Jack sat. Dr. Chen looked at the computer screen, studied the x-rays. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he turned to Jack. Mr. Morrison, I have difficult news. You have lung cancer. Advanced stage. The tumor is large and has spread. Jack nodded. He'd been expecting this. How long do I have? Without treatment, 6 months. Maybe less. With treatment, we can try chemotherapy, but I can't make guarantees. Treatment is difficult at this stage. Jack nodded again. I understand. Dr. Chen had closed the file. Then he opened it again, looking at the name at the top. Jack Morrison, it said. He stopped and stared. Mr. Morrison, he asked slowly, are you a firefighter? Retired firefighter. Retired 3 years ago. Chicago Fire Department, yes. Worked there 35 years. Dr. Chen stood up and came closer, sitting across from Jack. His eyes were filling with tears. In 1994, he began. In June, there was an apartment fire on the west side. Madison Street. A child was trapped on the 3rd floor. He was 7 years old. Firefighters saved the child. Jack listened, trying to remember. He'd seen so many fires. I was that child. Dr. Chen whispered. You saved me that night. My mother was at work. I was home alone. When the fire started, I was terrified. I hid under the counter. You found me. You carried me out. In the ambulance, you said, you're gonna be okay, kid. After that day, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to save lives, like you. Jack's breath caught. He remembered now, that small child, trembling under the counter. You're that kid? He whispered. Yes. My name is David Chen. That night you gave me life. Now it's my turn to give you yours. Jack's eyes filled with tears. 30 years. The small child was now a doctor. His doctor. I didn't even remember, he admitted. I saw so many fires. I know, David replied gently. You were a hero to thousands, but I never forgot you. My whole life I searched for you. I looked through Chicago Fire Department records, but there were so many firefighters there that night, I couldn't figure out which one you were. And now fate has brought you to me. Fate? Jack smiled bitterly. With cancer? No, with a chance. Because now I'm going to take care of you. And I promise you, you're going to live more than 6 months. Much more. Jack looked at him, wanting to believe, but he was being realistic. Doctor, you said advanced stage lung cancer. You said treatment was difficult. Yes, difficult, but not impossible. And I'm going to fight for you. You fought for me 30 years ago. Now it's my turn. From that day forward, David wasn't just Jack's doctor. He became his friend. He prepared an aggressive treatment plan. Chemotherapy, radiation, experimental drugs. He saw Jack twice a week. Not just for examinations, but to talk. The first round of chemotherapy destroyed Jack. He vomited. His hair fell out. He became so weak, he couldn't walk. David was there every time, encouraging him. I know it's hard, but you're enduring it. You're a firefighter. You've walked through flames. This will pass too. The second month was harder. Jack was ready to give up. One night he called David, crying, I can't do this anymore. I want to stop. David came to his house immediately. They sat together and talked until morning. David told him about that night, the 1994 fire. I was sitting under the counter, crying, couldn't breathe. I was dying there, but you came. You picked me up. You said, I'm gonna get you out, buddy. And you did. Now I'm telling you the same thing. I'm gonna get you out. But you have to fight. Jack cried that night. David did too. But then Jack pulled himself together and continued treatment. The third month brought the beginning of a miracle. Jack was in the examination room when David came in with scan results. He was trying not to smile, but couldn't help it. What? Jack asked nervously. Good news or bad news? David sat down across from him. Jack, the tumor, It's shrinking. Jack stared. What? Not by much. Just 8%. But it's shrinking. The treatment is working. Jack couldn't speak. For the first time in months, he felt something he hadn't felt. Hope. This is just the beginning, David continued. We keep fighting. We keep going. That night, Jack went home and sat in front of Linda's photo. Linda, did you hear? It's working. The treatment is working. That little boy I saved, he's saving me now. The 4th month, Jack woke up one morning and realized he could breathe. Not easily, but better than before. He could walk to the kitchen without stopping. He could make coffee without coughing. When he went for his appointment, David examined him carefully. How are you feeling? Better. Stronger. David smiled. Good, because we're not stopping, we're going to keep pushing. But then came the setback. In the 5th month, David ordered new scans. Jack went in expecting good news. He'd been feeling better, stronger. The tumor had to be shrinking more. But when David came into the room, his face was serious. He sat down slowly, looking at the results on his tablet. Jack, he began carefully. We have a problem. Jack's heart sank. What kind of problem? The tumor. It's growing again. Not a lot, but it's growing. The cancer has developed resistance to the chemotherapy. It's adapting. Jack felt the world tilt. So what does that mean? I'm dying? No, David said firmly. It means we change strategy. The chemo we've been using isn't working anymore, but there are other options. Newer drugs. Experimental treatments. Experimental. Jack's voice was flat. You mean untested? They're in clinical trials. They're showing promise. But Jack, I need to be honest with you. They're risky. The side effects could be severe. Jack looked at his hands. They were shaking. He thought he was winning. He thought he was getting better. Now how long do I have if we don't try? He asked quietly. Maybe 3 months. 3 months. That was it. All that fighting, all that suffering, for 3 more months. David leaned forward. Jack, listen to me. I'm not giving up on you. That night in 1994, you didn't give up on me. The building was collapsing. The smoke was thick. You could barely breathe, but you came back. You found me. You carried me out. And now I'm going to do the same for you. Jack looked up at him. David's eyes were intense, determined. Okay, Jack whispered. Try the experimental treatment. For the next 2 weeks, Jack didn't leave his house. He told Sarah and Michael he had the flu, didn't want them to visit. He sat alone, staring at walls, thinking about death. Then David showed up at his door one evening. He didn't call first, just Jack, open up. Jack opened the door. David came in, looked around at the dark house, the unwashed dishes, Jack's hollow eyes. You're giving up, David stated. I'm tired, I know, but you don't get to quit. Not yet. David pulled out his phone, showed Jack photos. This is my son. He's 7 years old. Same age I was when you saved me. His name is Lucas. And you know what he asked me yesterday? He asked, Dad, is Mr. Morrison going to be okay? Because I told him about you. I told him about the hero who saved me. And my son believes in you. So you don't get to give up. Not when a 7-year-old kid believes you're going to make it. Jack stared at the photo. A small boy with dark hair, smiling. He looks like you, Jack managed. Yeah, and I want him to meet you. I want you to come to dinner. I want you to tell him stories about being a firefighter. But that can't happen if you give up. Jack sat down heavily. David, I'm so tired of fighting. I know, but you're a firefighter. Fighting is what you do. And I'm not going to let you die. I can't. Because if you die, then that night 30 years ago meant nothing. And it meant everything to me. They sat together for a long time. Finally, Jack nodded. Okay. Start the experimental treatment. The new drug hit Jack harder than the first chemotherapy. For 3 weeks, he was in constant pain. He couldn't eat. He lost 20 pounds. David visited him every other day, sometimes staying overnight to monitor him. Then, slowly, things began to change. Jack's pain lessened. His appetite returned slightly. He could get out of bed without help. At the end of the 8th month, David ordered comprehensive scans, blood tests, everything. The results came back a week later. David called Jack. Can you come to the hospital? I have results. Jack's hands were shaking as he drove there. This was it! Either he was dying or he wasn't. In the examination room, David was standing by the window, looking out. When Jack came in, he turned around. His eyes were wet. What happened? Jack asked. Afraid. Bad news? David shook his head slowly. Then he smiled. A huge, genuine smile. No, Jack. Good news. Really good news. What? The tumor. It's 80% smaller. The experimental drug is working. You're in remission. Jack's mouth fell open. What? Remission. The cancer is still there, but it's not active. It's not growing. It might even disappear completely. This is a miracle. Jack collapsed into the chair. Are you serious? I'm going to live? Yes, you're going to live. For a long time. I promise you. That night, Jack went home, and for the first time in months, he slept peacefully. A year after his diagnosis, Jack was invited to a special ceremony at the Chicago Fire Department. It was retired firefighters' honor night. Jack took the stage to applaud, but the surprise was David. He was there too, on stage, taking the microphone. Good evening, I'm Dr. David Chen, and I want to tell you a story. In 1994, I was 7 years old, and I was dying in a fire. This man, Jack Morrison, saved my life. That night, he gave me hope. He showed me that life was worth living. 30 years later, he came back to me, this time as a patient, terminal lung cancer, 6 months to live. But I promised him I couldn't lose him. We fought together, and today, a year later, he's in remission. He's alive, because he taught me to fight, and I gave it back to him. The room rose in applause. Jack was crying. David was crying. David hugged Jack. Thank you for giving me life. Twice. Jack smiled. No, thank you for not letting me give up. 2 years later, Jack was 70 years old and still alive. The cancer hadn't returned. David was still his doctor, but they were friends now, almost like family. Jack had become Grandpa Jack to David's children. He took them to games, bought them ice cream, told them stories about his firefighting days. One day, David gave Jack a gift, a small framed photograph from 1994 from that fire. It was a newspaper photo showing Jack handing a small child to paramedics. I found this years ago, David explained. I've carried it with me ever since. Now it's yours. Jack looked at the photo. That small child was David, and the firefighter holding him was Jack. 30 years younger. You know, Jack whispered, that night I thought I was just doing my job. I'd saved a child. Yes, but then I forgot about it. Life moved on. I never thought about what happened to that kid. I know, and that makes you even more special. You didn't do it for fame. You didn't do it for gratitude. You just did it because it was right. And now you've done the same for me. Yes, because you taught me to be a good person, to sacrifice, to never give up. Jack smiled. I guess we both saved each other. Yeah, I guess we did. That night, Jack went home and hung the photo on his wall. Every day, he looked at it and remembered. Sometimes you save a life and forget about it, but that life never forgets you. And maybe one day, that life comes back and saves you. Jack Morrison had been 68 years old when he received a terminal lung cancer diagnosis. 6 months to live, but the child he'd saved 30 years ago was now his doctor. And that child had made a promise. He wouldn't lose Jack. 2 years later, Jack was still alive, still breathing, still laughing. And with every breath, he remembered that one act of kindness 30 years ago had come full circle. Sometimes you save a life, and years later, that life saves you.